Namaste. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about yantram. For people who don't know, a yantram is a mystical diagram. They say that the yantra is the physical form, the visual form of the mantra. A mantra is a mystical intonation. There's some misunderstanding about what a mantra is in the West. Mantra has become a popular word in English, even though mantra is a Sanskrit word. And a mantra is a mystical formula, a sound vibration that has certain effects. In the West we say, oh, it's my new mantra to say this. And we're talking about an affirmation or something, but a mantra goes much deeper than this. Deeper than an affirmation, because the mantra has an energy to it. When the mantra is intoned, it physically works on a person's consciousness. It works on their body and the space where they are. It introduces certain vibrations to that space that affects consciousness and affects matter. So a yantra is similar. A yantra is a mystical diagram. And we have mandalas and yantras both in the Hindu tradition, and mandalas are somewhat more complex. Mandalas are almost always created in the format of a puja, a worship ceremony, and they're placed temporarily. They may be drawn onto the ground. They may be drawn with colored grains or something like this, and after the ceremonies are completed, the mandala is taken up. Yantras can be made this way as well, but yantras are also constructed onto more permanent materials. One popular material is Bhojpatra, the leaf of a type of birch tree, and they'll write with certain sacred materials like chandan or kumkum, or different other sacred inks they make, and they'll write the yantras on the Bhojpatra. A yantra could be drawn just on paper. But also, traditionally, they'll take metal plates. Plates of silver or gold are especially useful for this purpose, and they'll engrave the yantra into there. Nowadays, we can buy lots of little yantras in copper, and gold-plated yantras are very popular. And these are made mechanically. You may have a plate, they press it on. It's not made in the traditional ways. There are certain rules traditionally for the construction of a yantra. A yantra should be made by someone who is very pure. He should be doing certain practices before the construction of the yantra. And when he sits to draw the yantra, he should have the deity in mind, and he should be reciting the mantras which relate to the yantra. Traditionally, a person will sit and they'll start drawing the yantra, and without getting up, they'll draw the entire yantra. The yantra is always constructed from the center outward. In the center of each yantra we have a bindu, a dot. This symbolizes that the whole universe has sprung forth from the divine. The yantra is created in this way also. It works on us from inside out as we create it this way. As we're drawing circular patterns, we go in clockwise direction. And always, if drawing straight lines, we draw toward the east and to the north. Not vice versa when constructing the yantras. Special directions must be used, and there are special proportions that need to be measured out in constructing the yantra. And when done in this way, it's a visual meditation. Popular in the West now also is drawing mandalas, and people create their own designs. But this is created by the mind. It doesn't necessarily have the same healing power. The yantras are created by the sages with wisdom of the nature of the shapes. And specific colors may be put in different parts of the yantra. The yantra itself has some mystical energy to it. Many of the yantras look the same. They often start with the Shatkona, the two triangles, like the Jewish Star of David symbol. It's sacred in the Jewish tradition, sacred in the Hindu tradition, very sacred to Lord Murugan, and very sacred to Lord Sudarshana, is this Shatkona, the six-pointed star made from two triangles, one pointing downward, one pointing upward. These relate to Shakti, the downward pointing triangle, and Shiva, the upward pointing triangle. Each one has a different energy, leads our consciousness in a different way. The two together triangles make the Shatkona, and this has a balancing effect on our consciousness. It balances the Shiva and Shakti energy within us. So many yantras start with the Shatkona, and many yantras have the 8 lotus petals around there. These symbolize the 8 different directions, this expansion of God into the universe, into physical space. And so, since so many yantras, they look the same, one thing that makes them different is either the color of the yantra, or the bija mantras which are placed into the yantra. Different mantras may be used. People think each yantra has specific mantras corresponding to a certain part of it, and it's not true necessarily. There are rituals laid out for energizing the yantra. Once the yantra is constructed, we've got to do yantra puja to consecrate and empower and energize the yantra. And there are different meditations and offerings which are made to the yantra. Different mantras may be placed on different portions of the yantra with different meditations, and there could be several different traditions of doing this. We have our own traditions here that involve Veda mantras. We're placing Veda mantras into parts of the yantra with various different bija mantras also. Bija mantra is a one-syllable mantra. Usually each yantra, because each deity also has certain bija mantras related to it. For Ganapati Deva, we have certain bija mantras related to Ganapati. Shrim, Hrim, Klim, Glaum, Gum. These bija mantras relate to Ganapati, so these mantras also will relate to the yantra of Ganapati. But it's not necessarily true to say that these mantras are placed in different parts of the yantra. The yantra itself is like the visual form of the mantra. And so if you're saying the mantra of Ganapati, some mula mantra of Ganapati, like Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glaum Gam Ganapataye Varavarada Sarvajanam Me Vashamana Yaswaha, then if you look with your third eye, you may see that the energy of this mantra is creating a form like this, like the yantra. And this yantra we can meditate on. If we see the different colors, it affects our consciousness in a certain way, and we meditate on this. And this is maybe a more true form of the deva than the meditation form we see with the body and the arms, like Durga we have behind Swamiji right here, is a meditation form of Goddess Durga. But Goddess Durga is not in human body like this. Her body is made up of light, and as such, if we look at the colors of the yantra, this may be a more true representation of the deva. But the yantra is made as a spiritual practice, and it has an energy for healing and affecting the space where it's made and the society around also. All the people who help to make that and come in contact with the yantra get powerful connection to the healing energy of the yantra. It's a truly, truly powerful practice to restructure our consciousness, to sort out the karmas, and to bring in the divine Shakti. When we say the mantra of a deva, or make the yantra of a deva, we get those divine qualities within us, slowly, slowly, as we come closer to realization that the divine is within us. And the yantra is a symbol and a reminder of this. Yantras which are blessed can be carried around. People keep on them for protection. They may wear like a kavach. They may keep in the vehicle for protection from accidents. They keep it in the house to deal with vastu doshas. It's very powerful when it's blessed with mantra, but if we just buy it and it's been stamped on with a machine or something, no power unless we do some pujas and meditations there. But the yantra is very important. People are understanding the practice of making the yantras less and less. We've got to sit many times and practice to get siddhi of the yantra. Just like with the mantra, you've got to practice many, many times to get siddhi. And then when that person who has yantra siddhi, by the blessing of their guru, they draw the yantra and it has very, very powerful effects. And we can have a darshana yantra where you just see it and it affects you. And so the yantra, they say, is like the body of the deity. The mantra is like the mind. And tantra is like the soul. Tantra is the rituals and the worship. We use the mantras and yantras in various different tantras, worshipful rituals. We do these for realization. We do these for the peace of the world. Om Namah Shivaya.